YouTube? What's going on? We're back with more of the First Descendant. Got a great video here for you guys today. Go over Ancestor modules, benches, upgrading reactors, components. I think I touch base pretty much on everything in this video here, especially when it comes, in retrospect to the new Ancestor modules. I do go over all of this with my Gley weapon platform build because I was able to take advantage of one of the Ancestor modules that I was able to grab for her and make some gains with that build in Season 3, Chapter 2. All in all, I hope this build helps you. If it does, please feel free to turn on those notifications, sub to the channel, drop a like. Alright, we're going over our my Gley weapon platform build. We're going over it in full detail, as well as Ancestor modules and everything new and everything updated for Chapter 3, Season 2. So just a couple of mechanics that are important to know with Gley is, for starters, it doesn't matter what you have as far as ammo in your clip with Gley. So as you can see, it's insufficient rounds in my mag for my restored Relic. Is irrelevant. As soon as you pop your increased sensory for your maximized lethality, which is your 3, even with 0 ammo in the clip, you're able to fire for as long as your increased sensory is activated for the duration. So again, you're out, just pop it, and you're back to infinite ammo for as long as the duration will last. So another thing when it comes to Gley, and we will go over the modules as a whole, I run this with the accelerated Driveshaft. So I'll show it in the Driveshaft. As it states, is when rolling, fire rate is increased by 20% for 5 per seconds at a 15% chance. So rolling generates additional fire rate. So again, if you see the weapon, I'll pop the sensory, there's 0 ammo. You see how it's firing like that. If you roll, see there's the accelerated Driveshaft, and you see the difference within the fire rates. So that's without accelerated Driveshaft, and then we roll, there it is there, it popped up, and you can see the increased fire rate with Driveshaft, with the accelerated Driveshaft. So rolling is important, you get that to proc, and you'll see it proc in a second here if I keep rolling, just so you know what it looks like when you're using the accelerated Driveshaft to get that insane amount of fire rate. There it is there. And again, that's what it looks like, and then it reduces it down 20% for 15. So you just got to keep rolling when you're moving around to be able to get it to proc. So those are just two mechanics that I feel are worth mentioning when it comes to Gley if you're not aware of it. Again, 0 ammo in the clip doesn't matter, as you can see with my Relic. Just pop your increased sensory with your maximized lethality, and you've got ammo in the clip. Accelerated Driveshaft, if you wanted to use it, again, you're not able to get it to proc all the time. It's a 15% chance rate when you're rolling around, but as long as you roll, there it is there, and then you get that crazy amount of fire rate. So I just want to note that before we get full blown into the build. Well, I guess we'll start with the easy setup here too. When it comes to your fellow, you want to run the HP fellow, which is the German Shepherd or the Sheepdog. Again, Gley doesn't spec into MP or shields or anything like that. You don't really need any of the ammo with the ammo fellow. I run this with my HP fellow ability, nice and handy. When it comes to the reactor with Gley, again, she's a weapon descendant, so the reactor doesn't matter as long as you've got skill cooldown and the duration on your reactor to get that full loop for the increased sensory. That's really all that matters. And again, the increased sensory or the maximized lethality is what we're after, and as you can see, the duration is 11.4 and cooldown is 9.2. So that's really the crux of the build, is to make sure that you are 100% within that loop. Duration is king. The longer you can stay on your weapon, obviously the more damage you're going to lay out, especially with sharp precision shot. It does cap out, but the more you can keep putting on the hits, obviously, keep that sustained fire, more damage output. So, yep, that's the reactor. Again, doesn't have to be a non-attribute dimensional for the weapon build. I just have one, and it's got the good rolls on it, so that's what I'm using for the reactor. Again, you want skill cooldown, skill duration when it comes to your attributes on your reactor. I'm currently running this with the ballistic, and a 2-piece ballistic and a 2-piece shell crusher. This was a nice gain that we were able to get because of the Ancestor modules, which I'll go over there now. We were able to get an Ancestor module and roll it to give me increased duration. What used to be here was the Firebrand set, which was range and duration. Don't need that anymore. We have the loop. We're able to get damage out of this. So we're giving up 2 reactor components initially that were just for range and duration, and able to spec into more weak point damage, which is huge because both the guns that I like to use with Gley, they do have crit, but they also do spec into weak point damage, so it's very, very, very nice. And I'll show you that as well. So again, I run this now with a 2-piece ballistic for the extra weak point and a 2-piece shell crusher for the fire rate. When it comes to the rolls, again, you don't want MP, you don't want shields. We've got some gains that we could definitely get out of these components. As you can see, the my sensors, garbage. I could use some attribute resistance in there, would be nice. Anything other than what I currently have there. Character gain XP is not really great. Module drop rate Kuiper, not really great, but max HP is huge. Shell crusher, again, toxic, resistance is great. The equipment drop rate, I could, I have gains, so I'll just keep grinding for gear. Use your best sets. Again, no MP, no shields. Try to use the best gear that you have. So when you do get a good set of gear there too, it really doesn't matter if it is full golds or not, and I'm going to show you what to do with it with my shell crusher memory. If you're in blues and you have something that's really good, you can just upgrade your reactors, your external components into gold, as long as you've got the material resources to do so. So when it comes to your reactors and external components, if you head over to the auxiliary workbench, you have it here: reactor option enhancement and external component option enhancement. So again, if you have a god roll, again, like for instance this one, and it was in blues where you had the skill cooldown and duration, as long as you have the available resources to keep upping the options, you'll be able to move this into gold. And then the reactor option, external component, it's the same deal, and I said it would show you with my memory for the shell crusher. So again, it's defense, electric, resistance. These are really good rolls as far as I'm concerned. As you can see, I've got the energy control core. Got plenty of those to be able to update it. These are going to go, and I'll just update it so that one hits gold. They're actually going to both go into gold at the same time. That's how you get them there. As long as you've got these resources to get you there. Your attribute rolls on your external components and reactor can be upgraded, as long as you're happy with the roll that you have. Again, two purples are now 2 golds. I like running my external components with the max HP and defense cores. Again, you can put HP recovery modifier in if you want there. You can put attribute resistance. I just I don't know, I like the consistency with the max HP and defense when it comes to the coring of the external components. And again, if you're not aware of it, again, to core everything, your weapons and your external components is your core crafting bench. Again, weapon core is self-explanatory. I'm not going to go into that, at least not right now. You can craft and convert your cores. Again, I'm not going to go over into this, but if you had an abundance of them, you can just craft them, convert lesser cores into higher ranking cores. Again, if you've got the necessary components, so the external components, again, go into one so you can see it. And again, when it comes to the HP recovery, you can see that there's 2 sets there. One's for shield, one's for HP. So just make sure you note that there is 2. It's the same thing with the defense. You do have 2, but the beautiful part about this is you only have to flip-flop depending if you're looking for like electrical or an attribute resistance. They both generate defense as a role for it. So that's where you would go to update your weapon cores, all that good stuff. So all the cores that need to be updated are within my weapon. I just select weapon. Same thing with this. If I wanted to change one out, we would just go to it, select it, all that good stuff. So that's the coring bench for your weapon and external components. Again, that's what I'm running with this. Now we will go into Arche tuning. This is what I'm currently running for my weapon build. Spec'd into a little bit of multi-hit for the Relic, and we've got some advantage affinities again, more so with the last Dagger. The Dagger is critical hit based, but my Relic is not, so I decided to spec more into firearm attack and explosive attack damage, just because I'm flip-flopping between those two, and more into some multi-hit again with the Relic, because that's going to be clearing out a lot of the mobs that you'll see within the new infiltration operation, the Supermassive. So that's my Arche tuning path that I use for the weapon build. Again, if you're using a crit weapon, you just take some of these out, move into your crit damage, move into your crit rate. If you're fighting, the weapon and you're fighting Colossus, again, take these out of your weapon attack, slap a couple into your Colossus damage for your weapon. Right, just it's based on whatever weapon you're using and what you're doing. So modifies based on what you're going to what weapons you've got, what you're going to be grinding for, what you're going to be doing. This is what I'm currently running with this build and the showcase that I'm doing for you guys there now. Inversion reinforcements, again, season just started. It's a slow grind for me, but again, I've got some survivabilities. We get the every 30 seconds we're getting a little bit of an HP bump, which is nice, and then we're also getting some attribute resistance when we get hit by the enemy, and we've spec'd into the strike point application, so when we're dealing multi-hits, our weak point damage is increased for 3 stacks. So that's a very nice synergy with both the Dagger and the Restored Relic. The Dagger doesn't really have a lot of multi-hit, it can, so it'll be nice if this, if we land one, we get the extra weak point damage, and obviously the Restored Relic is a multi-hit machine, and that'll be up quite a bit for the Relic, and it does have some weak point in there as well. As it's not spec'd into crit damage, we will go with the builds. We went over the fellow. So now it's the Descendant module. So this is where I was able to gain. When it comes to the trigger module, we'll get this out of the way. The hollow Kuiper hollow points are your, are the best bet. It's just we're hitting weak points. It synergizes well with both the weapons. There's no other like weapon module. I don't really have a great role on it. I do have a gold in there, but we would definitely want the these in double gold. For the modules, Predator Instinct. Again, that's pretty self-explanatory. That's an extra firearm. Additional firearm attack, 42% at stage 2 with a 2-second duration fire time. I mean, again, we're at 11-second firing, so we're going to take full advantage of the Predator Instinct attack. Very nice. Mid-air maneuvering, you want to have this equipped just for the extra node slot. Obviously, having your grapple is good. I like using this one. Some people use long range. That doesn't really matter to me what grapple you use, as long as you get the extra modification slots for having that equipped in there. And then it's all standard stuff. We got our cooldowns. I'll go into the Ancestor module in a second. We've got our cooldowns, MP conversion, nimble fingers. We've got our survivability, HP collectors with some increased HP, a battle of stamina for increased duration. Also specs in nicely with survivability and HP. We've got both of our durations. We've got the shot focus for the additional firearm attack, and I went over the accelerated Driveshaft and the benefits of having that equipped. If you weren't happy with the procking of accelerated Driveshaft. I mean, the options are kind of limited as far as being able to put the hurt on. I think real life, or is it, oh no, walk a tightrope is probably the only other viable one when it comes to firearm attack that you can get off of it. I don't think there's any other modules that I'm aware of, at least not right now, that will help you increase firearm attack for the Descendant modules. This requires you to manage your HP, so you'd have to change again your inversion reinforcement. You wouldn't want to keep gaining HP, you'd want to run at a lower HP to do it, so it's kind of tricky to do that. Not that it's not viable, it's an extra, again, 30% firearm attack. This one just nets you 20% additional fire rate at a, a 15% chance. So those are the builds. So what changed off of this build is I had focus on dimension, and what happened with focus on dimension was helping with the cooldown to get the loop. We didn't need the dimensional power. So I was able to pick up this Ancestor module. As you can see there at the top, it says required mastery rank of 19. So these things do come with extremely high mastery rank. Some of them are upwards of mastery rank 30, which I am not at. So I can't even utilize some of the Ancestor modules that I picked up for some Descendants. And you can readjust them, and I'll go over that here too. So this was initially had 3 on here with a down attribute on the defense, and I was able to re-roll it to pick up skill duration and cooldown, which was great for this build. I could have used other rolls for other builds, but because I was using this one in general, this was a great roll for it. So what it allowed me to do was its cooldown was more than the cooldown provided by focus on dimension. I was able to swap that out, and obviously it netted me duration. So this is really giving me a nice bump to the maximized lethality at 11.4 second duration with very cushy cooldown of 9.2. We're almost at a 2-second extra fire rate on the trigger to just lay on some damage. So extremely nice. This allowed us, by equipping this, again, this allowed us to drop the firebrand and allowed us to slap on the ballistic for weak point damage with absolutely 0 impact to the build. And that's exactly what I feel like the Ancestor modules need to do. If there's like, if I needed to, I would even go into the HP if I end up getting a better roll, or if I decide I'm going to roll when I get some of these more, maybe even I'll get a duplicate and I'll be able to roll more. Take out something that's not going to impact your damage and use it to scale that up better for you. But this was just a really nice synergy that I was able to take advantage of with the Thirster's Resolution Ancestor module. So when it comes to the Ancestor modules, again, we got our buddy over here that upgrades all of them. You would just go into the Ancestor module and readjust your Ancestor module. So Thirster's Resolution is the one that we're after for Gley. And I was running it at the 2-to-1. So you can get up to 4 enhancements, with one of them being a negative attribute. And you can roll these up. So the difference between each one of the 4 of these, if you'll note them, I'm just going to use the skill cooldown as an example. As you can see, it's mins and maxes for it. And as you can see, if you go into 3, it's lower because you're only running 2 of them, but you're running 3. It's actually, you get better roll running the 2 up as opposed to 3 up. The same thing with the 2 up and 1 down on the possible rolls for this. And the funny part about this is it doesn't always roll with a down one. You can get 3, even though it says 3 up and 1 down, you can get 3 full up. Even when I was rolling with this selected at the 2-to-1, I still ended up getting 3 positive traits, even though I only requested the 2. So it is what it is. But again, I just want to note that the 2 up to the 1 down attribute rolls net you the better percentages of just overall power, range, all that. So me personally, I've been rolling with the 2-to-1, so that I'm getting at least the maximized or the possible best rolls for it. I don't know if there's any benefit in having 3-to-1. I know you get extra, the extra option in there, but to maximize what that option can do, I feel like that's probably the better play for it. But we'll see how it goes. So just note that each one of these carries its own drawdowns as to its mins and maxes, and I actually believe that 3 up to the 1 down is the actual worst one to roll with for the modules. Using the 2 option up to the 1 disadvantage down actually nets you better percentage points on the rolls. I don't know if that's bugged, I don't know how true that is, but you can note that. Again, nothing wrong with running the 3, I just wanted to note I was running them under the 2 to try and get the maximum amount of min-maxing, at least on the current option rolls. That's how you do it. Again, you need the superconductive cooling units to be able to re-roll them. To start it, we need a lot of these, so lots of grinding to do. But you'd readjust it, it will change the skills down. I don't want to readjust it because I'm actually happy with this. If I get other Thirsters resolutions, modules, and they're running some, we'll more than likely be able to upgrade those ones and dismantle other ones and use ones that reroll better with, if we have multiples of the same. Yeah, so we got 2 Hunters resolutions, for instance. And I think I've already re-rolled these for VS, so we've got range and that. So I mean, I can roll either one of these, I believe, and I'll be able to take advantage of it. The problem with this one, as you can see, this Hunter's resolution's got a mastery rank of 19. This Hunter's resolution has a mastery rank of 29. So again, I'm not 100% sure why these two have 2 totally different mastery ranks. I'm assuming it's because the rolls or the options on the higher mastery rank Ancestor module will be better than the mastery rank 19 module. Possibly. So just note that. That's why I'm carrying some of these. I'll be carrying them as 2 and re-rolling them. I've already re-rolled this twice. And we'll hold on to them and see exactly what we get out of it. So just a few things to note with the Ancestor modules. I'm sure somebody else has probably confirmed that, but I'm sure that if the mastery rank is higher from one to another, you'll just get more options or better option rolls when you roll it. When you roll them through this Ancestor module adjuster. So that's the Ancestor modules as a whole and how it helped this build in general, and we'll continue to build on it. So I've gone over the triggers, gone over in each and every module, gone over the increased sensory, why it's important to have the loop on there. We've been through all of our external components, our reactors. When it comes to the weapons, again, we've been over the corings, all that stuff too, right? So when it comes to the weapons, the swords I like to use on one-on-one, I don't really find them viable for mobbing personally, but with Gley, without the, she doesn't consume ammo, these, you never have to worry about this running out. So these low clips, especially on the lower magazined items, you're laughing, absolutely laughing with Gley. So this is the current rolls for my Shadow Slash. Again, I really like this weapons I like to use with Gley, my restored Relic, and my last Dagger. And this is what I'll be sampling. These are the current modules that I'm going into it for. Again, the Strike and Pierce, the Shadow is naturally more in tune to those Strike and Pierce, so I've got a Strike and Pierce build. We'll build out other ones, but that's why I went with Strike and Pierce. So we'll continue to level these up as the weapon gets closer to 40. My Relic is done. This is my Gley Relic. Just leave that on there. Again, it's just really, the explosive attacks, charge amplifications, fire rate, and spec'd into the fire priorities. Relic, it's good for. See the cores there on the bottom. Got to get a couple of those purples into gold. Yeah, try to get that attribute status triggered to the weak point as well. That's the Relic. And then Dagger, one of my favorite guns. This is my Chill Dagger. I have bunch of different ones for it. But again, there's your weak points that you have in there. Again, it's spec'd into some crit damage and weak point. But we get to take advantage of some good weak point damage as well as some crits. That's my my modules for my my Gley. Here. Again, the sharp precision shot. Again, fire rate, just keeping it on there. I guess another option you can use instead of using sharp precision shot is real life fighter. I'm not too sure if there's a power creep on this right now with real life fighter. If it's you know, better than the sharp precision shot, but running it with the, you know, accelerated Driveshaft on the fire rate, I feel like I'm good. So it's another down on the accuracy too with the half aiming. It's not really like, you know, it's really taken a lot of accuracy dump, and then with the Kuiper shards, it's pretty insane. But again, on a successful weak points, you get additional fire weak point, additional on successful weak points, you get firearm attack 10%, up to 10 stacks. So that's that is huge. That is definitely a better firearm attack output than the sharp precision shot. But you know, I leave it. It's really your call. I use the real life fighter when I'm going up against Colossi, so I'm taking huge advantages of that, so I can hit the greater weak points. Be able to hit your weak points, you know, swap it out for sharp precision shot, see how it feels. But again, it is definitely, you know, there's no way around it. Even with the additional fire rate, I do believe the real life fighter now does net you possibly a little bit more damage. So not 100% sure, but that's another option if you're looking for another option other than sharp precision shot. Real life fighter is a great secondary option, at least for me. That's the Gley build for you guys. I hope it helps. I hope you enjoy it. Gley is super fun to use. Absolutely love using Gley. go. Oh. Where the fuck is the toxic damage coming from? Oh, you're so screwed, buddy. I got you.